in order to affect the inflammation pathway, which has to do with activation of eosinophils, activation of white blood cells, monocytes, and other immune cells that are in the body. Quercetin has a unique ability to affect those things. And in fact, quercetin has been kind of touted as nature's answer to allergies.
Hey, welcome back to Ultra Life Today. We are so delighted you're joining us for this second week where we're talking, trying to take a deep dive, but having a lot of fun doing it, Adam, in the arena of plant bioactive compounds, polyphenolics, but specifically we're talking about quercetin. You mentioned that antioxidant properties. You mentioned that it has this unique ability to chelate, which means to bind to heavy metals in the body and activate them. Then we moved into this idea of ligands or cell messaging last week. So pick us up where you left off, because you were trying to explain to me how quercetin interacts with a cell and what's going on there when that happens.
So quercetin, as more importantly, I mean, the antioxidant, great. The heavy metal chelation, great.
Fantastic.
Anyway. What we want is to know the biological domain of quercetin. That, plants make quercetin because they use it for a biological function inside of the plant biology.
Does it protect them somehow?
You know what? I don't know.
Does it make bugs stay away?
I don't know.
I wish I knew.
I don't know. I don't know. No, those tend to be more the terpenes, right? Terpenes are that
aromatic components. Okay.
Yeah. The polyphenols tend to be more functional domains. So quercetin interacts with our immune system. It actually affects immune signaling in a profound way. But most specifically, it affects something called eosinophils. Eosinophils are a class of immune cell in our body that are primarily responsible for two different kinds of immune responses. The first immune response is something we're really familiar with. It's the allergic response.
Okay. So glad you're talking about that, because I've heard rumors that quercetin has a unique ability to help in that. So keep going.
Yeah,
keep going.
I mean, that's where the big promise of quercetin is, that it since it has unique domains that affect eosinophils, it will prevent the activation of eosinophils. So activated eosinophils are immune cells that are causing an inflammation reaction.
So if the pollen count is high in the air and I'm one of those people and I go outside and I'm breathing it, you're saying it's activating eosinophils, and those are creating an inflammatory response that's probably going to take me down a negative trail.
Yeah, an activated eosinophil starts to spill out histamines into the tissues. Histamines are another cellular messenger that causes immune cells to flood into the space. A histamine dump is like calling out the National Guard.
Not fun.
Well, I mean, we've all experienced it.
Right.
You've experienced an allergic reaction.
Yeah, to toxic mold. You're right.
And your nose stuffs up almost immediately. Things start to swell. You can get hives. Hives is an allergic reaction in your skin. You can have asthma, which is an allergic reaction manifesting in your lungs. You can have eosinophilic reactions in your esophagus, in your stomach, in your intestines.
Yeah, we've heard about people's throat closing up from reactions to different things.
Right.
Peanut allergies, that kind of thing.
You can stop breathing because of it.
Right.
But things like ulcerative colitis is considered to be, get this, it is an eosinophilic response that's happening in the tissues inside of your intestines. It's very similar to eczema. Eczema in the skin and different kinds of manifestations, eosinophilic manifestations in other parts of the body are the kind of the same thing. Eczema is an eosinophilic reaction happening on the skin.
So is quercetin actually mitigating this inflammatory response that's taking place from eosinophils?
That is, unfortunately, I don't know the exact mechanism of action, which ligand that quercetin is attaching, but the research is definitive that quercetin is a powerful mitigator of eosinophil activation. So if you have quercetin soluble in your body, it will dampen the activation signal of an eosinophil. Whoops, that's bouncy.
So I just want to throw out something. Is there such a thing as a synergistic effect when it comes to some of these compounds? Because I think about...
Oh, yeah.
I think about...
I love synergy.
Okay. So, we have our awesome QC department over there at our 25,000 square foot pharma manufacturing facility. And
when you say it that way, it sounds amazing.
It's pretty sexy, isn't it? And you are the guy that is such a in your head innovative guy, and you're constantly telling Stella or other people over there, hey, I want you to do this, and these mysterious packages of powders are coming in, and you're shipping them over there, and they're doing things with them.
Sounds like it's something different, but it isn't.
And then, all right, well, then I'll sit down with you, and I'll like, what's that? And you're like, oh, I had Stella and Jared look at that, and guess what? It works with our technology, and I get really excited. So you get really excited about combining these things together. So is there really such a thing as synergy where 1 + 1 can equal 3? Let's say you take curcumin, you take quercetin, you take berberine, you put them all together. What happens?
In fact,
it happens in the drug world, right? They use drugs to try to create synergy. No,
you know what?
They try.
Drug companies, no, they actually don't try.
But doctors do. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah, in COVID, you had so many different doctors coming out of the woodwork.
They talk about the drug cocktail. They were needing a cocktail approach.
Yeah.
And the reason that we
is there a cocktail approach in natural supplements?
There is. There should be. Excuse me. Human biology is like trying to stop traffic from an island when there's 3 bridges off that island. And so the pharmaceutical approach is, well, we're going to block this one bridge. That's going to stop the traffic. Does it stop the traffic?
Yeah, we're all looking at our GPS and it's going, it'll save me 10 minutes if I take this exit.
Yeah, it might be, it might be a one-way bridge that you only go on because it's kind of rickety. It's a singing bridge. You know what I'm talking about? One of those kind of bridges. Does it keep the traffic from getting off the island? No. The biology just goes, oh, that's blocked. I'm going to go around.
Yeah, may slow some things
Opens
down.
up entirely new channels.
Right.
We find out that there's a subterranean passage that nobody knew about. Right? But that's what happens in our cells. Pharmaceuticals but they can block one thing. And honestly, pharmaceuticals work because they are effective in some regards. Quercetin is one of those compounds. We use it in our oncology products with some other compounds because quercetin affects a number of different metabolic pathways in the cell. It affects NRF2. It affects...
Is it an AMPK guy?
No.
No. Okay.
No. It is. No, actually, no, it is. I'm so sorry. It does affect glucose metabolism. It does. Right. But it also affects a number of other pathways, NRF2, AMPK, mTOR,
yeah,
and NF-kappa beta indirectly.
Ooh, NF-kappa beta, that's one of my favorite ones to say.
Not as strong as NF-kappa beta, not as strong as curcumin. But most people don't know what those different secret codes are. Those are different, like side streets inside the cell where certain things happen. And so quercetin, if it can get in the cell, it can affect different parts of the human biology. And so that's why in our cancer products, we combine quercetin and curcumin. And also in a product we have called Ultra Defense, we use curcumin and quercetin and boswellia.
Olive leaf extract, and vitamin D3, and zinc.
Right.
Yeah,
we use all of those in order to affect the inflammation pathway, which has to do with activation of eosinophils, activation of white blood cells, monocytes, and other immune cells that are in the body. Quercetin has a unique ability to affect those things. And in fact, quercetin has been kind of touted as nature's answer to allergies, except it doesn't get into the body. It's
Right.
and it gets it in its native form. It's a crystal. It's insoluble. It won't absorb. Thus, why the LPS technology is so important. We make a standalone curcumin product. We also make a standalone quercetin product called Ultra Quercetin.
Yeah.
It's available on our website. We also have a couple of other products that include quercetin in it. You know, I have to admit, when I take quercetin, I don't feel anything, but I'm not dealing with allergies.
I'm with you on that as well, but I have never dealt with allergies either. So
I've
I
heard
don't
people
have,
report to me that have severe kinds of allergic things, and they tell me that the Ultra Quercetin, especially the Ultra Defense, man, I have people that beg me to send them Ultra Defense. I have one gal, she's a PhD at Rutgers University. She travels overseas all the time. She just texted me last night, send me the quercetin in the Ultra Defense. I'm going over to Thailand for a month, and I'll be sick as a dog if I don't have it.
right. In a roundabout way, you have answered the question related to synergy and putting things together. And we kind of we wound up at Ultra Defense, where we do throw certain things together.
Yeah, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 in these cases. 1 + 1 = 10 or 5.
So just a quick recap. We started off talking about antioxidant potential of quercetin if you can get it in the bloodstream. We went on to talk about chelation. We went on to talk about how it creates a unique ability of these cells to signal in the cytokine, chemokine space, and be able to mitigate a response in the body related to inflammation, allergic responses, things like that.
Yeah, so the body's creating these. Something's happening, right? So the other thing that eosinophils do, so we talked about this, you reminded me, eosinophils are responsible for allergies. They're also responsible for the parasite response. So we don't deal with a lot of parasites here in the Western world.
I would actually completely disagree. I would say they're like the hidden illness that nobody knows they're dealing with.
Right.
And they are responsible. Talk to Dr. Wyndham and other doctors that we interact, and they'll say, hey, it is a big deal.
Okay,
but you're right. It's not
as
to the
much
point.
as Africa or India.
Yeah, it's not like river blindness, in Africa.
No.
You're right. You're right.
Thankfully.
Yes.
Right? It is believed that allergies that we experience in America especially is because we have a bored immune system. Our eosinophil system is designed to be responsive. It wants to it's looking for the parasites.
So it really is a no pain, no gain type principle with our immune system. When it is attacked by something, it actually gets stronger and it needs to kind of stay revved up and active,
something.
right? Looking for a fight.
So you don't give it something to respond to. It's kind of like it's getting kind of itchy. It's dancing around, and then it gets a signal that maybe it shouldn't respond to, but it's like, well, I got nothing else to go on. I'm going to do this.
All right.
Watch out, folks.
Hey, we are so grateful that you have joined us for this particular segment of Ultra Life Today. This is week 2. It's this third one. We've got another one that's going to be coming up. You're going to enjoy it. We're going to kind of wrap up.
You better
quercetin.
enjoy it.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a trick on Adam and try to stump the inventor, innovator, CEO, research dude sitting over here on my left. I'm Josh Bellieu. This is Adam Payne. This is Ultra Life Today. Find us where you like podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating and subscribe, share.
Our mission is to take nature's most beloved botanicals and enhance them with our liquid protein scaffold technology. This helps it reach your cells faster and better. With exponentially enhanced bioavailability, you'll feel better every day. Ultra Botanica, the feel-good curcumin.
Hey, welcome back to Ultra Life Today. I am Josh Bellieu, one of your hosts, and I'm hanging out with this guy.
Adam Payne here. We're in our fourth segment talking about quercetin.
We are talking about quercetin. So real quickly, because on the break here, one of our sound producer guys, Thomas, mentioned different foods. Look, go to the internet and simply look up foods that contain quercetin, because I couldn't even put it in my notes. It was so very long. But then there's going to be some superstars like onions in the mix there. I can't remember one of the other ones, but it is cool as well. And this is me getting my plug in, Adam, for organic foods. This was to me, this was like a golden nugget. When they compared blood concentrations of quercetin after people ate tomatoes, they tested them against farm-grown tomatoes versus organic, and guess what? 79% more quercetin was present, not only in those, but in the bloodstream. So nature has a beautiful way of absorption, right?
You mean natural, organic produce?
Organic, that's right.
Not
as compared to the just
genomic
the
modified.
Yeah, just as a
maybe.
I guess it would be a new.
Maybe.
It would be a new fun thing to call it Big Pharma, but just spell it with big F-A-R-M-A. Big food is what people normally say. Anyway, so. Antioxidant potential, chelation potential,
so
unique interaction, inflammation, and you were
my first wife in the 80s. She was from overseas, and I brought her to the United States. And we spent our first couple of years in the United States. I went to graduate school, and she was first of all overwhelmed and surprised by the amount of food that we have here in America, and
it's
then
plentiful.
And then she was astonished at how unflavorful it was, lacking flavor.
Horrifying.
Yeah. And
nothing like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Sadly, not even the organic tastes that way, unless I grow it in my own backyard.
Our taste buds do degrade over time, Josh.
I don't believe it.
It does. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm tuning mine
So
up.
you were going to challenge me with kind of to stump the inventor question.
I did. I thought it was so interesting because, and this is something that you've actually taught me about in the past, but
so you're going to stump me with something that I taught you?
Well, because you may not know it applies to quercetin, right? So I'm trying to drop some hints here. Some hints.
I'm waiting.
One of the most prominent things they mentioned about quercetin as one of its unique mechanisms of action in the body is the way it influences something related to detoxing. You want to guess what it might be?
Detoxing. Liver health?
Phase
2 detoxification.
I knew you picked up on
Okay, but we already sort of talked about this phase 2.
We didn't mention it by name because, we have another product, Ultra Broc, has this beautiful sulforaphane in it. It elevates glutathione naturally, and it's a phenomenal. What is phase 2 enzyme detoxification?
It reminds me of those kind of movie skits where people are like, it's like that phase, and they're like, they don't know what the words are, but they pretend that they know it.
Well, that's
phase
why I'm
2,
doing that.
Right.
Like, what in the heck is it?
So guess what? There's phase 1 detoxification.
No way.
Yeah.
Is there a phase 3?
Then no.
Oh, okay.
No, sorry.
All right. So anyway, phase 2.
Well, there might be, but we only talk about phase 1 and phase 2, and they typically they're in balance. And this is why getting a good functional doctor is super critical important for most of us, because a good functional doctor, one of the first things that they're going to do is look at your phase 1, phase 2 balance. Some of us can be phase 1 heavy and phase 2 light, which means we'll accumulate phase 2 toxins because they're not processed as fast as our body gets them through phase 1. So toxins go through phase 1, then they go through phase 2, and then they're eliminated. So phase 2 has to do with environmental toxins a lot. And some of us, we can be phase 2 deficient. And what that means is that we will accumulate toxins. NRF2, NRF2 as we like to call it, is one of those genetic pathways in the DNA and in the cell that if we activate it, it activates the whole phase 2 detoxification process.
Now, are you saying that primarily phase 2 toxicity comes from airborne pollutants?
Well, no, being inefficient on phase 2 means that environmental
more
toxicities
susceptible
will
to those.
will
Gotcha.
accumulate in the body.
Now, what happens when you're talking phase 2? Where does the detoxification process take place? Is it primarily in the liver? Is it something that happens all over the body?
My understanding is each cell has its own NRF2
Unique house cleaning ability?
cleaning, yeah.
Nice.
So just like the exhaust system in the mitochondria creating oxidative stress by the accumulation of free
Shooting out
radicals,
those, yep.
right? Other environmental toxins can accumulate in the cell, especially if we have a phase disbalance. We could be strong phase 1 and weak phase 2. We could be weak phase 1 and strong phase 2, which means you're going to still accumulate a lot of toxins, but until you get your phase 1 cleansing up, your body's going to accumulate a lot of different free radical issues.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you something. It's like we would want to phone a friend, but we don't have time. How do you boost your phase 1?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
See, that's why we need Keith Bishop and Deanna Wyndham here to say, if you eat these things,
what
and
would
you
you
take these
do?
supplements.
They go a lot more schooling.
Well,
than I do.
anyway, so
But Nerf too,
obviously
so we have-
quercetin affects.
Yes, quercetin.
And so I would think that the foods that are quercetin rich are probably going to help elevate your phase 2 game.
They will help to do that. And so we know curcumin is
Right.
a powerful activator of NRF2.
NRF2, yep.
Quercetin is a powerful activator of NRF2, NRF2, and broccoli seed extract is a powerful activator of NRF2.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's we activate that if you're deficient or you need that extra boost. A lot, I recommend, and I'm not a clinical nutritionist, so I have no clinical basis for making this recommendation, but you and I both kind of recommend people once or twice a year doing a good phase 2 detoxification.
I do. I just think, the more we learn about environmental exposure, the more we learn about toxicity in food supply, in water supply, the things were around chemicals, again, airborne type
It's
things.
scary, actually.
It is all around us. It makes me really, I'm blown away by the way God has designed our body to be able to stay well. It shocks me that people are still living into their 80s and 90s and they're healthy.
You blew my mind a couple months ago. You did.
I can't wait to hear what it was.
This was
it
all,
a good thing?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You're going to go, oh yeah. You told me that there's only a couple of clean oils that are out there.
Oh man, this is such a sad state of affairs.
And when I started to look into it,
and when we're talking about oils, we're talking about oils that one would use in cooking or take, such
eating.
as olive oil. Okay,
and when you shared this with me, I was more than a little bit astonished.
I was so perturbed when I found out, and I said that cannot be true. What Adam is referencing,
true.
Yes. Yeah, and when I mentioned it, I think we were in the presence of some doctors, and it just shocked, and they were like, "It really is true." Or no, we were talking to Keith Bishop, I believe. at the time.
Keith was there. And
Yes.
Keith was like,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Keith is the way that Keith does that,
Yeah,
right?
he's a compendium.
Oh my gosh, what a lovely guy! I wish I could keep a copy of Keith around all the time.
But you held me back there. Why were you holding me back as it related to these oils? What were you going to say?
It blew my mind, Josh. I mean, I had no idea that these oils, these dietary oils that we take in on a lot. I mean, I cook with it. I put in salads. I cook.
Yep.
I cook with foods that
Half of us
oils.
drink them and take it by the tablespoon.
Well, we use organic coconut-based MCT oil for anything in Ultra Botanica, which I was glad to learn is actually not a bad oil.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No.
But you shared with me that most of these
The big problem
cooking
is
oils
olive oil. The big problem is olive oil.
So talk to me about this.
It's such a bizarre thing, and what a fun detour to do. And we've got about 4 minutes left, so we'll come back to quercetin and wrap it up. But there is such a thing, if you can believe this, of the olive oil cartel. Now, keep in mind, we've seen plenty
it's a kind
of
of a
movies.
thing down in Sicily there.
Yo, right? So we've seen movies, and we have so many friends and Italian brothers and sisters around the world. But we do know there's an evil element that exists within all cultures, right? And we happen to know, we've seen The Godfather and other movies.
So,
believe it or not, they
is
are
this the
controlling
Sicilian mafia?
They are controlling olive oil, and what they're doing is they're blending in other oils like rapeseed oil and other oils. And some big companies have gone out and tested all these olive oils that are supposed to be organic and special and perfect and wonderful, and they found that they're contaminated
with what?
With rapeseed oil and canola oil. So they'll put some terpenes in there to make it smell like olive oil. They'll put a little of olive oil in there.
You're kidding me.
Quit it.
Really? I mean,
yes.
Seriously.
Yeah, and so it's very, very difficult to be able to find. So there's only a couple of different countries that are single source origin countries that are putting out olive oil from start to finish is good.
Mind. Tunisia. What do I look for that's made in Tunisia? Where is Tunisia? It's like south of Morocco, right?
Yeah.
It's in Africa.
Right.
And it's good?
Yeah.
Tunisian olive oil?
Yeah. Well, again, I don't know what. As soon as somebody hears this, they're going to go start adulterating the olive oil.
But I started to take a look. So I went into Sam's the other day and I looked at the olive oil that they said. And one of the bottles was like single source blend from Tunisia and Cyprus.
There you
and
go.
I thought,
well, that's why they're putting these things on the label these days,
really?
Because it's begun to be kind of a crisis.
Wow.
Yeah.
So olive oil is okay, and then avocado oil is okay, yes?
Well, I mean, there's a variety of different oils out there that are good. And coconut oil, good organic coconut oil is rocking. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're not adulterating that yet, because I don't think they have a big mafia element where they grow coconuts. I just don't know. Okay, about a minute and a half left before we wind up this last segment. You mentioned some good things. Look up on the internet quercetin and the foods that you can eat that are very high in it, and it'll even tell you which portion of that particular vegetable or that fruit that you may eat that is actually the best part to consume to get high levels of quercetin in your body. We have bragging rights here at Ultra Botanica, and it's really simple. There's a unique technology that was created not a mile and a half from here through Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation, University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center. Adam has lots of friends still over there. They're working and doing research on our onco products that we use to help support the immune system for individuals that are dealing with active cancers. We're a research-based company. We're a CGMP company. We've been visited by the FDA. We're going to do a little teaser for next week. We're going to do a little CGMP down and dirty show of 30 minutes, 2 segments there that you're going to really, really enjoy. And we're going to talk about what is a CGMP facility, why would the FDA inspect facilities, and what horrors do they find when they're there.
Ooh, we're going to read some warning letters?
Well, we're going to talk about some warning. I could out some people. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to come back to haunt us. But anyway, so again, I've been hanging out with this guy, Adam Payne, today. He's the CEO of Ultra Botanica. Super humble guy, very much of an innovator. It's one of the things I love about him. He's constantly looking for the new thing that will help you live your ultra life today. Wherever you find podcasts, look us up. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, share. We love you. We appreciate you. We're going to be back. Hopefully, the next one you're going to hear is going to be on how do you manufacture a dietary supplement and do it right, and what sets us apart from the rest. I'm Josh Bellieu.
I'm Adam Payne. Thanks for joining us here at Ultra Life Today.
Go live your ultra life today.